Hello everyone, Mono here, and today we're going to be reviewing a EU West Gold Swain main named Rui, and I actually can't pronounce his IGN, but he's a buddy of mine. He loves playing Pokemon and League, just like I do. And also, we're just going to be reviewing his game here today. So, we're going to be looking at his Swain gameplay. Now, Swain's a pretty good champion to climb within solo queue. He's very reliant on his laning phase and also sustaining his own stats, like kind of getting through his own laning phase, not feeding kills, and taking advantage of his abilities. So, first of all, we're not going to really go into the Runes of Mastery since I think Rui nailed it on this one. Usually that's a big indicator when I'm watching replays, but honestly I didn't really see anything that was wrong. And so what we're going to be looking at here today is how he's going to lane against a Riven and just fix some of his mistakes he makes as a player. But one of the things I recommend before going into this coaching session here is that if you're learning how to play Swain, go to Quas's YouTube channel. Diego Quas Ruiz, he used to be the top laner for Team Liquid and now is the top laner for Tempo Storm, and he is probably the best Swain to ever live. And that's a weird way to phrase it, but basically he played Swain since the beginning. He played it on 200 ping when he lived in Venezuela, and basically he climbed to the top 10. He had 2 accounts in the top 10 last year, basically with a win rate of like 75% on Swain, which is ridiculous for Swain. So basically, if you want to learn how to improve as Swain and Swain mechanics, since I don't really play Swain, go and watch his channel. There's also Otto Lycus. He's a NA Challenger Swain main too. You can also watch him if there are any VODs of him up there to learn how to play Swain better. So let's get in. Alright, and so now we're moving on to the in-game portion of the game. We didn't really have much of a pre-game of this whatsoever, but basically your runes and masteries are pretty fine, and your skill order, there's really nothing much for me to criticize here. Basically, I'm doing this for Rui, so if your name is Rui and you're the one who gave me this game, which you're a buddy of mine, get a piece of paper and pencil out, or a pen, and write down all the things I mentioned throughout the video. It'll just make it easier for you to learn from your mistakes, and once you find the main criticisms of your play from what I'm telling you and what you think are the main criticisms, then it'll be easy for you to post it somewhere where you can see it when you're playing, and then hopefully that will help you learn from your mistakes here. So basically what I'm going to point out during this game is just what the specific things you did wrong in this game. It doesn't mean that like you did them bad, because this game was actually pretty good from you. Let's turn this down. This is actually a pretty good game for you. And we're going to start off here. So you are up against a Blitzcrank composition. As I said, one of your win conditions is basically to play around their picks, even though they have a lot of it, which makes it kind of frustrating. But if you would have stacked with your team there, it would have been better. Although I don't think this was necessarily a bad move, just suggesting that when you're up against a Blitzcrank, everyone loves to invade. So that's one of the things. But this is a good idea that you start Dorn Shield. One of the main things that I say a lot in this recording is that you should probably follow Quas as closely as possible for being a Swain main, because Quas is probably the best Swain anyone will ever see in a while, because that guy's just a monster on Swain. He plays it competitively, not many players do, and he makes it work out pretty well. I'm not sure what his total win rate is, but Swain is a beast. Alright, so I'm going to start early here. Okay, so you're up against Riven. Now, this matchup in general isn't very, it's not an easy matchup. It's definitely skill-based, but I think it really favors Swain earlier on. Especially in lower elo, you could really take advantage of Riven really wanting to go aggressive here. So what you really need to be doing, and especially since Swain is really good at playing into melees, is that you really need to be abusing the trading stance. And the trading stance is, I'll show you in a bit, and you're already exercising it. So basically, about right now, take a moment, right now, let's take a look at these minion waves. Actually, hold on, we're going to figure this out. I think it's this, isn't it? Or is this the eraser? Alright, here we go. Alright, so she's got 3 minions about to die, or at least 2 minions that's about to die. And you right now are focused wherever you are. You're focused on hitting, or last hitting these. Wait, I'm stupid. Holy shit. I can't believe I made the mistake. Alright, she's last hitting, no wait, no, she's last hitting the red ones, yeah. And you're last hitting the blue ones. For some reason I got mixed up, because usually you last hit the red ones whenever you're playing on colorblind mode. So she's about to last hit these minions here, and right as where she's walking up, you need to be in a safe position where you can auto attack or harass her with your E, since you started E, while she's trying to last hit, because she's gonna want to last hit this guy. And you're gonna want to harass her, because your minions are still up and alive. So this is like a good opportunity for you, where her minions are about to die, or the ones she needs to last hit, or your minions. So you need to be trading with her when she goes in for those CS, and that's how you're going to win this lane matchup. You're going to win this by out harassing her as Swain, and using your Q, using the EW, all those just to harass her out of lane. That's your whole goal for this lane, is just basically don't die and harass her as hard as you can to build up your items, because Swain is most powerful once he gets like 3 items or so, or 2 or 3 items. That's his strong points. And you are doing this right now. But if I were you, there's better ways to be trading like this. Like here, this is a good example here. So she needs these, you know, in order for her to level up, she needs to hit these guys over here, right? And right now you're standing like here, which is fine because your range of influence is like about here to auto attack her. It's actually probably about here, to be honest. But you could be harassing her and by positioning way more out front. So you could stand all the way out here even and harass her. Like, you don't want to take too much damage or lose too many minions, but just position-wise, like, you'll see players who have this early lane matchup like you do, is that they just completely make the other laner completely irrelevant by just completely being out here and just not letting Riven get anywhere near this area or get near these minions at all. So you could be doing that, although you're not. Although I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, because you still are making it work. Because, you know, you're still, like, threatening her, and it's not like your E will do a ton of damage. So one thing you need to be able to do is to make sure you're last hitting as best as possible. One of the main things Quas emphasizes whenever he's playing Swain is to always hit the last hits, because it's a big deal, especially when you're not taking a Dorn's Ring. And it's also just fueling your passive. So this is a good example of you trying to do the trading stance. I think you should be autoing her instead of using your abilities. Use your abilities, like your Q and your E, when you are completely zoning her out here. So you still got to be doing this. So you are lasting pretty well. You could be doing better. But one thing about playing against Riven is not to trade at all when her shield's up, unless you think you can get through the shield. So at this point of the game, you know, you're missing a lot because you built the wave up. That's like one of the main things. So at this point, after you push this wave out, you should definitely be looking to ward instead of stand around here. And that was one of the bigger errors that you made in this game. So it's pretty standard. Once you push out past like this line over here, or even this bush around this line, when you're on this side of the map, like over here, that's when you need to be warding. Especially with Zac. Zac's pretty high ganking, although most Zacs don't necessarily do this jungle path, and since this is lower elo, it makes sense that he just did a red to blue. Actually, what the hell did he do? Oh no, he did Raptors, red, blue. Okay, that's actually pretty standard nowadays. But usually you don't see top ganks at level 3 and higher elo. So you actually play this fight out really well. Since you're Swain and you can like 2v1 really well, and you're also fighting this massive minion wave, you actually like kite this out pretty well. Even like once she levels up, you get the auto in, and then you kind of back up. I mean, I think that was a fine choice because you still harass him, and I don't know if there was necessarily a kill in your future, but overall that was a really well played fight. You knew it was not very smart of Zac to go in at that moment, and you got the kill, so that is fine in my book. Maybe if you would have positioned slightly better, you could have gotten 2 kills here. But you ended up almost killing both, so it's fine. Now here, flash. You gotta flash that. that's important, or know that you're gonna die. But I mean, the main problem here, and this is a common theme I see throughout your whole gameplay that I watched over. So you're trying to shove the wave. You drop your Q, and then you walk back in to try to last hit it. If you didn't drop your if you didn't go into like auto attack, which you canceled the auto, you would have been like right about here on the where the cursor is, and that's just more distance for Riven to do your combo. You should have been able to flash it. You just didn't, so it cost you. But honestly, this didn't really cost you that much in terms of experience and farm, because like you were already done shoving that wave out, and you actually don't really miss much of this wave as it comes back to tower. Let's see, you missed 1, 2, 3. I think you missed these guys. Wait, you don't even miss these guys. Yeah, you only missed 1 creep. So that was actually not really that bad of a death. So it's debatable whether you didn't even have to flash at all. However, like now that you've backed, you have to realize one thing. Like Riven's at a pretty good point where she can maybe excuse me, sorry, I digested my food. Riven's at a pretty good point where she can completely solo you, but you don't have the mana to sustain because you went Blasting Wand. Now you could have gone Dorn's Ring here. You could have gone Dark Seal. I guess Dark Seal would be good if you're planning on snowballing, which you did get that first kill, so that might have been a good purchase. You also could have gone just Dorn's Ring or gone for the Catalyst stuff like Ruby Crystal and Mana Crystal. I don't even think that's that bad of a buy. It's not a great buy, but this buy here, you really have to either know that you're all inning or really conserve your mana for lasting. But she shoves the wave into the turret, which makes it kind of hard for you to last it at all. Although you do a good job. Now, at this point, I think you need to learn your Swain combos. And I'll show it on the screen now what a Swain combo is. But basically, the Swain combo is like the QW at the same time to harass. The Q will slow while you W, and it basically just locks them down completely. And like I don't think the way you're using it is pretty bad, but you could use it way more in sync. Like for example, right there. Sorry, this fucks with the frame rate a lot. So when you drop that W there, if you drop a Q and you have it up, if you drop the Q as well, that'll like slow Riven and make it harder for her to do that last combo there. But overall, this is like pretty smart playing right here. And this is where you kind of make a mistake, although I think it's a good time to engage. So you get the level 6, you have this giant cannon wave pushing in, and you know Riven's going to want to farm it. So if you harass her off the turret or get a solo kill, that's pretty big. Like that's something I think you do subconsciously that's really smart, or you know you do it. So like here you're looking for an all-in harass. You're farming. You get your you miss your cannon minion, and then you go all in for it. And you hold on to your W, which is smart, but then you're completely out of mana, like absolutely bone dry, which makes it kind of hard for you to sustain through lane. And then you kind of get greedy because the wave is not at a great spot, and you're really gankable right now. And Riven knows that she has all this solo kill pressure on you because she just hit 6, and there's no way you can kill her with just your autos. So that's you kind of get punished for that. And oops, I didn't mean to hit that. And she knows it too. Like she's positioning like she has the lane control. I mean, it is good that you're letting this lane push into you, but one of the main aspects about top lane is like mana conserving, because like if you get a bad like lane or wave control, and you're actually farming really well in return. Get most of these. Actually, no, you don't. But yeah, but basically right now your win condition of controlling the lane and lane dominating is kind of getting out of your favor with that trade, but you can still get it back. Also, one thing I note that you'll be doing, we'll do it when you trade next time. Also, by the way, this is another mistake. We'll get to that one later. But this is another mistake. You decide to push this one in. And yes, you don't have the best lane control, but you leave so much time for Ruin just to get back here. You do have flash this time. That was a good W. God, I love the way the Swain skin walks. I have Tyrant, so I don't have to deal with this. He's just walking with a cane. Well, at least you're able to live, so that's good. But you have to blow your flash for that just because you did that bad trade. And, you know, now that you have a Catalyst, if you had Catalyst and did that trade before, you wouldn't have gotten her as low, but the trade would have worked out. And you would have been able to have more mana to continue your lane pressure. And now that you're having TP back up, I'm pretty sure it's back up. It kind of gets fucked. But now that you have TP backed up, actually, I'm pretty sure you don't have it back up yet. Maybe that's just the replay. I'm not sure, but now that you have mana and you have this presence, even though Riven's actually going a really good build path with Executioner, which will fuck your healing, but she's also going a lot of health and trading, so it favors her a lot. Hold on, wait. So she was pretty low after the 1v1. She took red. And now that you're at this power spike, you are able to like fight her, but you have to be very careful. Like this is like a pretty good window for her to 1v1 you. And here's the trading point I wanted to talk to you about. So I talked about trading stance earlier, and I think you need to be using the bushes way more. So if you watch Quas, and I'll tell you a million times to watch Quas if you ever want to get good at Swain, stay in this bush right here, or you know any of these. But you want to be using your bush presence to harass her, like auto attack, drop your QE here, your QW, and then like ER and whatever the Swain combo is that I showed you. Basically, you really want to have this lane pressure, and I'm noticing a lot of your positioning is within like in between. I don't really see you using any of these bushes, and if you know top lane, or watch like high-low top laners, like they use these bushes so much. This is like a huge advantage that they use to win lane. So I would advise, like if Riven's gonna want to like last hit this cannon minion right here, and you're standing on this guy right there, like if once she like walks up to hit it like the very last second, just drop like a W right here, or we'll use a different color. Just drop like a W like right here, and like the Q range will be like right around it, and then like that's a good trading method. And I mean, you still get these good trading methods off, but you're like, it could be better. And you know, we're here to help you improve. And this is just a bad trade on her part. I think she got greedy because she had that whatchamacallit, the red buff, but it ended up costing her here. She had to back. And now you have, and you know, this lane's pushing, so you can't really freeze it. So you kind of just have to shove the tower, and then check your vision or look for a TP. I think TP's back up for you now, because it's up for her. And you used it kind of just after. Now, this is also something you didn't really check this bush. It's always like, once you push wave, I notice this is like a problem you have a lot, is that you kind of just walk up to the turn and then just kind of hang around here. And although there's nothing like technically like bad about it, it's just not efficient. Like, it's not efficient of just like moving around the map. You know, even if you push that wave, you can go into the enemy jungle and get some ward downs, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, you just dropped it here. Or you could have walked around, hit the blast cone, and then hopped off. You could have, you know, hit the blue cone. Rift Herald's up, you could have warded that. There's a lot of different options you could have done, but instead you just stood there. So here, this is like her window where she could punish you. And although I don't think you necessarily played this super poorly, she was just very ready to solo kill. Yeah, it was close. I mean, in my opinion, I would have like pushed that and backed and maybe gone for boots, because I know you're trying to go for that early Roa, but I don't know. I just don't think that was the smartest move to be up that far, because like you could have gotten this and been fine, and then you have to burn your TP instead of like helping out bot lane, which is struggling already. I don't know how smart that ward is, because most of the time you're kind of like pushed up here, and it would have been just better to get the ward like down here or over here. Alright, Now here's something where you do very well. This is the same scenario again. I'm not sure if it's right here. No, it's the next wave. Alright. But you're smart in that you're putting a lot of pressure on this Riven. Even though your CS numbers are the same. Alright, wait, no, this is it. Alright, so your CS numbers are the same, but you're also not, like, shoving in the wave, just, like, mindlessly shoving. You're, like, keeping the wave, like, controlled at, like, a point where it's not convenient for Riven or rest. So here you have a cannon wave crashing in, and I'm not sure if you were necessarily doing that because the cannon wave was crashing, but she's, like, getting greedy for caster minions, which is, like, a difficult thing for her to farm in this kind of matchup. And you do have, like, the armor advantage here. And even though she does have items to kill you, she's pretty low. So this is a really smart all-in trade from you. And it's also, you hold on to that W. That's like really smart. And it's smart of Riven to dodge that, but like she gets so chunked out by this. And so she can't back because she doesn't have TP. And now she's got a huge wave that she's missing, including a cannon. Like, look how greedy she's getting for it. Like, this is a huge trade for you, and that's something you really need to be mindful of whenever you're playing against Riven. And she gets so greedy that you kill her. Like, now she loses all of this farm. Like, that's like a huge play for you. And although you don't get to farm and push this tower in because Zach is here, you still get such a good trade. So that's something that you're really good at, or something you did really well. And here, just Yi's getting really fed. He's like 3-0 off that kill. In my opinion, you guys should have done Rift Herald here, but since it's a new patch and not many people know how to control Rift Herald yet, it's understandable that you guys didn't go for that right away. Although I think that's the best option here because it's not that hard to solo, especially if you're Swain. But you end up running out of mana, and if you go up to like push this wave, now you're gonna not have much. Although you got the other plant, but now the wave's pushing and you haven't backed yet. And this is another criticism that you should write down, and I think it's one of the biggest ones, besides that you play very greedily, is that you also don't know when to reset very much. And this is a pretty common problem in gold, in like silver gold elo, is that gold players are pretty good at like knowing how to like trade and do all of that, like playing League, like the playing part's pretty like okay, or at least like how it looks. But you guys, gold players tend to not know when to reset, or like press the reset button and just like go back, when to go back, when to buy. Like, it's fine if you were harassing Zach earlier, but if you had just went back earlier, Riven wouldn't have gotten all of this damage onto the turret that she just did. So she got a pretty large amount, and it could have been even if you just didn't harass her like that. And this kind of goes into play later because like there's like a pretty big first tower rush with bot lane. And you actually CS this really well. I was impressed. I don't think I would be able to CS this well right now on Swain. Although right now I'm shit at the game, but that's another story. Again, there's a fine trade here. And yeah, you're strong enough to solo because you have all this armor, and she only has a cleaver. She doesn't really have anything for MR, which is kind of not too smart on her. And here you kind of focus down the minions a little bit too much. I think here if you just like hit these two caster minions, the minions would have advanced. Or have just left this alone. Just start hitting this guy now because bot lane takes a bad trade and they lose first tower. Like, it's so close, and then they end up getting it. Which isn't a huge deal anymore on this patch, but it's not great. And this is probably the biggest mistake in this game. You TP back, which I don't know if you needed to TP back, but you check the brush, and then... Here, actually, let's slow this down. She sees the TP, and you check the brush, and I don't think this was a bad ward necessarily. And this is a good play here to get Riven off. So everything here's like, alright, that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't have TP'd, but you can still clear the wave alright. I don't think Riven can dive you because she took too much damage. But then this Victor just was so good at getting caught out. And I think this Blitz player was just pretty good at Blitz. But you walk up here, and the fight's over. Like, Blitz has lived, and now you just kind of gave that away. So now they're going to actually get this turret, and since no one's mid besides E, he's going to be able to take this. Unless he still has Ashe here, actually. I forget. But yeah, you still lose the turret. You could have kept the turret if you just played that out a little bit smarter. I also don't know about the Merc Treads. I suppose the Merc Treads are fine. I kind of prefer Tab Eyes, even if it's against a Riven. Because you still have Riven Ashe, but they have a lot of CCs, so Merc Treads work fine. So I guess that's just your preference. But off of this, they get the Rift Herald, and that's actually a pretty big deal, because that means they don't have to do that much to get the mid turret. And they could even get the second turret or a lot of damage off of it. That's like what the Rift Herald's been used for in like competitive play and stuff like that. So just helping out here, like at that point, just leave him to die. Like you have to play so selfishly as Swain because you're so dependent on like your own peel with your abilities. And and again, I think you actually played the lane out pretty well. You only like died once solo, and the other one was, and then you made like 2 greedy mistakes. So like, if you just like when you play greedy, basically what I mean by that is that like you're looking to get that like one last CS or like the last 2 CS, or you're trying just to, you know, get the last hit on that tower and die for it because you want that gold right now. Like just be patient with it. Like a lot of playing League of Legends is just being patient with. You know, objectives. Like when you're like playing and you're like, oh, the turret, we have to get that down right now. Like no, like you can like get it down later. You know, it's not the best, but it's better than dying for it or making a mistake. Like the first death you had to Riven's an example, and yeah, in this fight here, your teammates kind of just went there. I mean, I think it's fine that you roamed down. If you made that roam earlier and the tower was gone, you could have been mid. Like, if you had just focused the tower down a little bit earlier. And I think you play this fight out really well. Here, actually, let's restart it. Because, first of all, you don't have E, but it's a 4 for 4 fight, and Ashe is super low, and you guys have the turret. And this is a bad engage here by them. Kate's kind of checked out, but Ashe just doesn't respect you at all, and the other team doesn't peel for her. So you get that easy kill. And this is a good route to stop her. Like, you played this fight really well. And I think if you guys had done this a little bit more often in this game, just kind of locked down for Ashe, you guys would have been way better off. So you're able to, like, pick up like gold and put pressure. And yeah, and this Riven's just super greedy this whole game for that. Like, I said you were playing greedy, but this Riven's, like, on a whole other level of playing greedy. So, I think you played this out really well. And here, okay, this is what I mean by resetting. So, you got the kill on Riven here, right? This Caitlyn was awful, like, the whole game. It was so cringy watching her, alright? You got the minion wave crashing. You don't have that many minions, they're gonna die. Back off now. Like, go back, buy your items, and go down a side lane. Or, like, in the jungle, get some vision. Like, now you're just kind of standing around. You're standing around. Like, who cares? Like, okay, if you want to shove one more wave in, that's fine. Shove this wave in, or drop a Q, drop a crow, and back up and go. Like, that's it. You don't need to be sticking around. But instead, I'm not really sure what you're doing here. And I'm going to criticize you harshly for this because this is just such a dumb mistake. Because, like, this could be totally avoided if you just backed. Like, that's how easy the mistake is to fix. All you have to do is just back. And so that's like one of the main points. You got to reset at the right times. You push that, you win the fight, you get 2 kills and an assist. The minion waves are dead. Just go back, go buy, go get Azanias, go get boots. I think you buy Leandri's here because you have a ton of gold. But instead, you just die, and you actually almost like play this out. You blow an exhaust, but that's just you're giving away way too many kills. Like you've given away 3 kills. There's only been 1 kill where you had a misplay. The other 3 kills were just for being greedy. And I'm sure now that you're noticing, you're realizing like, oh wow, that was such like a stupid mistake. But it's like these little mistakes that are the reason why. Like, imagine if you were 5-1 instead of 5-4. And this, I didn't really touch up about team comps that much, and I don't think I will because I'm recording this before the pre-game stuff, like the beginning of the video. But basically, I do not think Like, I don't think Yi was a smart pick here at all. I don't really know the pick order, but Yi in this composition is just not good. Alright, so this is smart. I mean, but these guys are just constantly fighting, so it might be in your best interest to, like, be down there, but I think that you pushing out, like, these waves is fine. I don't, like, if anything, you should be communicating with your teammates to just ping them off of, like, these objectives here. And I'm not sure why. Everyone keeps stepping up to blitzcrank hooks. Alright, so you push the wave in your favor, and then you roam down. Wait, I went too fast. Sorry. Alright, so basically now, in this video, we're just going to be focusing on your team fights and your lane assignment. Like, where you go in the lane. Alright, so here you actually position super well. So Yi dies. But right as Riven goes in, you just focus all in her, and that works out well. You get 2 kills. And this is like how you should be playing out these fights. And that Leandry is just coming in handy. I think that was a smart buy on your part. Especially, like, because, like, the game's going in your favor at this point. Like, I'm like, ripping on all of your mistakes right now, but right now, you're in, like, you're good. Like, you're in a good position to win this game. Like, your Kalen's really the only thing that's holding you back, but you guys just let Blitzcrank, like, win this game. You kind of just, like, rolled over and let them run all over you guys. Like, you get an Infernal here. Like, if you get an Infernal, like, it doesn't really matter how far you're behind. Like, your win condition just, like, or your chances of winning just got raised by, like, 6% of damage. Especially for your team comp. Your team comp does so well with, like, scaling damage. Even though this was way too close. In all honesty, I wouldn't have even gone for it. Let's see what you do. Alright, you get that guy, and you back. See, that's a good back time. And this Victor just kept getting caught out, although he played that really well. So you TP in, grab an assist, chasing, you get another kill. Now you guys can win here. Like, you got the jungler, maybe you can do Baron, but you guys can at least get this turret. Alright. But let's see. Okay, pause. I don't know why your team went elsewhere. They were trying to get the other lanes, but they did have time to at least shove in this lane. But you can't be just, like, up here so overextended. Because now... Because, look, Ashe can just arrow you right now, and Ori can... she doesn't have ult, but she's going to. But this is just really bad positioning here. Like, here's... this is better positioning. You're standing back here. And you have vision. You know, you're... That was weird, but... You're going for picks. You're stealing, or you're in position to steal buffs. You know, you can steal this blue. You steal the blue, you get a hook on Ori, she's dead. Like, good. Like, you're getting picks. This is good. This is good against their team fighting comp. Although you don't really have a pick comp necessarily. And now you're shoving in the wave. You want to take the turret, but now they're all up here. And there's no real reason for you to be up here by yourself like this. Even though Victor's here to back you up. Like, you keep setting yourself up for fights. Like, literally all you have to do is group up and this will be easier. Go for picks, not necessarily group up 5v5 team fights because they can wombo pretty well. But you're just, like, your positioning, like, after you're ready to take an objective, it's so far forward. Especially against a comp with Zac and, like, Blitzcrank that can just yank you and you're dead. Although, like, I do think that being top lane and shoving is, like, the right place to be. It's just that you're really far up near the turret all the time, ready to get hooked. And this Victor's literally has made this mistake, like, every death he's had. It's pretty bad. But you're in such a good spot right now, it's just really frustrating to see you not taking advantage of opportunities where you could be. Alright, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Because lane assignment wise, you kind of know what you're doing. Alright. So you're still shoving mid. You got your blue. You're in good shape. You're trying to control the waves. This is also like this is what I'm talking about here. You're all the way up here. You're all the way up here. And like if Zac was just chilling like back here and ready to hop onto you and, you know, Ori ulted you, like, then you're dead. Like, and then your team can't siege, and then, you know, they can get Baron or something. And although you are, like, soloing her, and, you know, she's dead, I'm pretty sure. It's just not, like, the smart position. Okay, and this is the example I used before. This is the greedy example. Like, you go in here to get the turret, and you also have Zhonya's. You use Zhonya's after the damage. If you use Zhonya's her shockwave, that's number one, a better chance to win. But because you guys were so up front earlier, trying to get this tower, like, this could have been avoided if you had just been with this minion wave back here. Because, like, you know, you got Thresh and Victor and nowhere to be seen, or near the fight. And then you got everyone else. You got Zac collapsing from here. You've got Blitzcrank up here, and Riven's on her way. Actually, Riven's just chilling in that bush. And this isn't, like, a bad fight to go for, but... And then you guys start hitting the tower. Kate didn't headshot the tower, but Zhonya's there, and I think that fight might have gone a little bit differently. And if Thresh timed the redemption a little better. And that was just a good Zac ult. And then they get Baron. So now you're kind of in a sticky situation. You got Liandry's now. Now you're in your prime Swain opportunities to win this game. And you're showing out the side lanes. It's a good start. That part, like, you're pretty good. So, like, really all the mistakes is just, like, you're overextending when you're sieging by yourself a lot. You have problems resetting, and you're greedy. If you fix those three issues, then I think you're, you can easily get Plat. Because your mechanics and just, like, your game sense is stronger than I thought it would be. Like, see, now that you're positioned with your team, you're way stronger as Swain. Because Swain could just soak up damage. But... This is one of the mistakes. Why are you out here when your team's over here? And look, Kaylin's back here. She's not ready, and you're just kind of chilling out here. I don't know if you're trying to ward, but there goes your flash. Like, you know, totally waste of flash. And now you get caught out here. You get CC'd. You're still, like, in a good position, but you guys all walk into that Oriole. Like, holy cow. You guys are all dead. You actually get Ori, which does stop their push a little bit, but because of that, they get everything off of it, pretty much. They get everything but your Nexus, except for the side waves. But now you're at a point now where it's not really worth to, it's not really worth to, like, the game's pretty much over, because they have they have your base completely destroyed. So, now... Like, you understand, like, these are the mistakes that led to this, and if you didn't have made those mistakes previously, then, you know, the game could have been different. The game could have been over for you guys, honestly. I think you guys could have rolled over them. This is a good TP here. I mean, at this point, it's kind of over. But there's still a few team fights left. Let's see how you play them out. Alright, same situation here, bud. You farm your wolves, and then you step out. You're just chilling in the open here, honestly. And, you know, this is a good flash play by Blitzcrank, but still, it was preventable. And you could have Zhonya's earlier, again. Don't save Zhonya's until you're literally about to die. Save it for, like, a big crowd control spell, like Ori's Shockwave. You did 3 times at least. And again, you actually do kill Ashe. Like, you're still being effective. And then you guys actually clean this fight up. It's super long. Right here, Victor. Victor plays this fight out really well. He actually made some good plays. He just got caught out a lot. Yeah, you got a triple there. But then you guys, this is just such a big throw. I'm really not sure what happened here. So you guys all respawn. Oh, wow. Okay, the replay froze. All right, well, you guys all respawn, and then you die, and then they literally just end. Like, it's super anticlimactic. And the replay froze, and it happens sometimes with this. It's happened twice when I've gotten up to, or twice when it's gotten up to this point. But, yeah, basically, 3 things you need to work on. Stop being greedy. That's a whole mentality shift. Just really focus on, like, last hitting earlier, because, like, then you won't have to get greedy for those minions, later in the game. So just be better with your last hits. Oh, wow, it actually worked. Alright, so we'll see what happened. Alright. Ash Arrow. And then they push to win, I'm guessing. Alright, well, they kill Riven. And then Ori cleans up. And then that's game. Yep. Yeah, so being greedy, that's a mentality shift. Just focus on getting your... focus on just preventing the mistakes to happen in the first place. So, like, if you just want to get some CS, like, you know, oh, I just want to get the farm. Oh, wow, this got that close. Damn, wow, that actually was a crazy ending. Alright, basically all I'm saying is that all these mistakes are preventable, and that they're not that difficult. So learn when to reset, and that's not much of a learning curve. Like, just don't get greedy for the extra minions. That's like a big problem. Don't get greedy. Reset properly and work on your positioning in team fights, like especially when they have like a blitzcrank or a pick comp like that. Just learn to position back more. So that's really all I have. If you have any questions, just message me on Discord or reach out to me some other way. So thanks for watching, Ruby, and I hope this helped. And I hope whoever watched this that you guys enjoyed. So thank you, and that's all for now.